Okay, welcome everyone to the December council meeting. I call for apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Dixon and have an apology from Councillor Coleman. Sadly, Councillor Coleman's father-in-law passed away this morning, so he was a late apology. So we're wishing his family condolences and nice time over Christmas. Councillor Sherman is on her way, but she went to the Warialda Public School presentation, so she will be a little bit late. It's just going to that. It started at 9, so she'll be here as soon as that's finished. Is there more? Could I have a mover and a seconder that the minutes from the ordinary council meeting held on the 27th of November 2025 as circulated be taken and read and confirmed? Councillor Bishton and Councillor Crispin, those in favour, if that's carried, those in favour say aye.
Can those two people also move the apologies?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, I call for declarations of interest, gifts received and conflicts of interest.
I got extra money, but I gave it back for the declaration.
No, but thank you.
Thank you.
I was paid in error for going to the state conference. I didn't go, but anyway, it's deducted off mine.
300.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I haven't got a declaration of interest, Mayor, but I want to suggest or ask that we have a minute's silence in respect to the people that passed away at Bondi, representing the Shire, in regards to that.
Yep.
Is appropriate.
That's very appropriate. And also, while we're on that subject, Mayor Tanya Taylor from our sister city in Willoughby is laying a wreath for us today at Bondi. So we might have the minute's silence now. Everyone, you're very, very sad events. Something we never thought we'd see in Australia. And so then we have the Merrill minute on page 4. Everybody has read that. Anyone need me to summarise?
Mayor, can I just ask, is this a new thing or has this always been there?
It's always been
Summary?
something I've probably maybe I add too much, but it's a good way of communicating. And in it I spoke about Leah and I doing the presentation in Parliament for Country Mayors. Which was very well received, and we've had lots of emails and lots of questions since then
About the training stuff.
about the training and how we grow our own, and Maureen in particular would like to get together because I think they said to us they had 60 vacancies. So they would like to get together and chat about how we do things. I also had the privilege of Leah and I went out to dinner with the two medical students in Warialda. We went out to tea a few weeks ago. Lovely people. And then I arranged for them to have a horse ride with Johnny Wade on the river, and I'd had morning tea with them prior to that and lunch with them. And we were lucky, one of the locum doctors that has Port of Lochalanti came and joined us. She was back, and so they were able to talk to them, but they had the most amazing experience in Warialda and in Bingra, especially with Diane Flynn. They just couldn't believe their knowledge, and they were made to feel welcome, and they were lovely students. So that was all very good. Both Christmas carnivals went off without a hitch, and from feedback, everybody was happy in both communities. Could I have I just would like to move that the mayoral minute be noted for information. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Collins, those in favour say aye.
We just have to mention that we've got a item. I'd be happy to deal with it.
Okay, we have a late item. Before we start, can I have a mover and a seconder that late item with Councillor Wilmot and Councillor Crispin? Those in favour say aye. Thank you. Okay, we move on to item 6, which is the 6.1, which is officers, the executive services report. Questions? Leah Daly, our General Manager, will talk on this. Anyone would like to raise on this?
What page does it go to?
Oh, sorry, it goes to page 13.
The next section.
So it goes from.
I did some more commitments and just going to the.
Well, yeah, we need to move. Yeah, we need to
I'll
move.
tell you.
Yeah.
Well, you need to accept it in. That's what Sarah goes off. So if you don't get anything, if you can either accept the call or add in your calendar any events that you go to.
2026 is the new year.
That would make Sarah's life very
And
easy.
if there's something in here that you didn't attend, just minute that and just talk to Sarah about it.
Yep, I didn't attend the last meeting.
Oh, okay. So we'll amend that, and yeah, if you can just all keep in touch with Sarah so things are added into the calendar, and that way it will make this correct and Sarah's life easier.
All you have to do is accept or
Yeah.
decline. You
Yeah.
don't have to contact them.
Yeah. No questions on that report? Have a mover and a seconder for that report. Councillor Bishton and Councillor Crispin. Those in favour say aye. We move on to item 6.2 on page 14, Corporate and Community Services Report. Any questions for Helen Thomas? Yes.
Yeah, just the pontoon area is on there. Any dates on when it should be open, please?
It's supposed to be before Christmas. However, I'm not thinking about that, but I will find out. No, it's a further update from the government.
Noticed that the fenced area
It's got
is smaller,
it's
shrinking,
got
so it mustn't be too far away.
Hopefully not. It was supposed to be before Christmas, but I'll find out and let you know. Absolutely. They are using it, but we still have to get around the gates if that's other thing.
Just your Facebook statistics. It's thing that you put in, Alex. I think you put it there, or the engineering update. And you're getting a lot of positive response. 42. And you can see that with the reflection of the figures, 11,604, but what interested me was we must have a lot of dog breeders in town because 57,000 views.
That one really stood out, didn't it?
Hard to explain, isn't it?
If that's an impressive figure, the post that we had for our great event Foster's wheels and tyres, that was approaching 200,000.
Yeah.
Very, very widely shared.
And it made us famous at Country Man's. They sought us out to talk to us about
History.
amazing.
Truck wash is a different section, isn't it? Or that's the same section?
Yeah, that's
It is 6.3
Yep.
council bonds.
If you've been to either of the customer service areas, you'll notice the staff have put a lot of effort into the Christmas decorations. We've almost got a Myers window at the Bingra service area. If you haven't had a look, please go and have a look at the work that they've done there to get that. And Ian Royale and Terry, and they've done a fantastic job getting it all decorated and welcoming for Christmas. So
it's pretty amazing. And it'd be good to actually put them up, just saying.
So we will have photos. So there's judging today internally of all the Christmas decorations and staff that have gone into Christmas. So then we'll be with a judge. So I'm not sure actually who's judging that, but we will have some photos. So I'll be able to put them all up at the next council meeting if you like.
I think we could say something like, why go to Myer to see the Christmas windows when you can come? Yeah, because it is very impressive. Very impressive.
David Jones didn't do one this year in the end, so
It's very impressive.
The Roxy complex there on page 43, the concrete car park has now been completed. Is that out the back?
Up near the
So the car park that's done, the other that's not quite finished outside the doors where all the tiling.
And speaking of the Roxy, you would all know that the current cafe tenants are closing.
Yes.
So we're sending out expressions. Well, we've spoken to some key people who've shown interest in the past, and we're sending out an expression of interest post before Christmas just to see, cast the net to see what's out there.
and it'd be really good if we can get someone in there, because it's not only is it another place where you can get something to eat, it's an icon, is that cafe.
It's fact we can eat in the booths and
Yeah.
atmosphere. So hopefully it's been well attended since the Fresh Finds have had it. So hopefully that's enough to encourage people to know that it is a valuable business.
Were they the longest operators or most successful?
Yes. It would have been.
Gone alongside
There
them.
you go.
It's been very inviting from my point of view. It's been very inviting, clean, fresh, and you can just go in there and there's something, you can get something straight away. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very sad. We wish them well in their next venture, but yeah, another loss for us. So hopefully we can find someone for that.
If we can't find someone, we'll be coming back to you with ideas. So we do have ideas, but the perfect scenario would be to get to just release it to tenant.
And in that report, we will see our trainees and apprentices, which is fairly impressive, the amount that we have. And
Good applicants for all next year.
Yeah.
They're all signed up, I think. Is that tomorrow?
it's a couple that are just waiting on employment health screening otherwise.
I attended a sign up yesterday, and it was some existing workers as well as some new staff, and every person in that room was doing a different trade qualification. It was quite, it was really exciting actually, and they weren't all young. They weren't,
No. And they're excited.
Mm.
When I was at the Warialda Christmas Carnival, is it Ezra?
Yeah.
Yeah, young student from Warialda, like he's just beaming and so excited about it all. And he tracked me down because he was one of the Willoughby Exchange students too. And he tracked me down just to tell me how well it was going. And it makes you feel happy that they're happy. Yeah.
And we're becoming quite a multicultural organisation, which is lovely.
Any more questions on 6.2? The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I ask for a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Crump and Councillor Collins. Those in favour say aye. We move on to item 6.3, technical services report on page 51. And any questions with the Director of Engineering, Alex Eddy?
Andrew, myself, Councillor Collins.
I was going to say great news about the water, the bore. It looked very positive.
Very good news. There's been a couple of developments with that since this report was written. Namely, that the EPA will not let us use the water from the 72-hour test on the new bore for they're prohibiting us spilling it into any adjacent water course. You would think that pulling water out of the ground and putting it back in the creek would be quite a straightforward and simple exercise, but because it's untested and may contain heavy metals, it's very unlikely, or some other nasty. It's not present in the creek, probably not present in groundwater underneath it. The EPA have said that it needs to be temporarily stored. Because we have a truck wash that is absolutely at capacity, we have decided to kill two birds with one stone, and that's to create about a 5 megalitre storage dam that will sit on the northern side of the existing truck wash ponds, which in the first instance will be used to hold the 3 or so megalitres that comes from the 72-hour pump test that we have to do before we can apply for production bore. But secondly, once that water is taken off site, evaporated, disappeared, it will become a tertiary treatment pond for the truck wash. It'll allow us to, rather than switching between two ponds, which is what we're doing now, one gets full, and when it's full, we switch to the other one, and we hope and pray by the time we need to switch back over, enough is evaporated out of the one that we had just left. The high usage has proven that is not really a feasible long-term outcome. So we're able to utilise some of the funding that's available for small construction. It's a legitimate cost to create a temporary storage dam to store this water. It's fortuitous that it can then become a settling pond, drying bed, somewhere that we can decant clean water from the top of truck wash ponds onto, and that will solve the problem long term. Only other thing I just wanted to point out was two things, sorry. There has been a little bit of discontent that's come back to me from Wario community about the truck wash still being open while water restrictions are in place. Just to arm the councillors with some knowledge, the truck wash uses about 3 to 4% of the town's total water. It's, in the scheme of things, closing that truck wash is not going to allow somebody to, not going to allow the community to put sprinklers out on their lawns overnight. The other thing was just a point about line marking that we undertook recently. There was a request that came to do Cunnington Street, something that we hadn't thought of, and I don't recall whether it came from this room or it came from a member of the public at a community meeting. It was. It's just a great example of one of those things where if you ask, most of the time, if it's reasonable, we can do it. There are things that, for a number of reasons, sometimes just that we're human, there might be obvious things that we look at and we don't look at, but we overlook. So please keep those requests coming, because if we can make it happen, it's a good outcome.
What did you grant?
Sorry?
What did you grant the line?
The line.
Oh, well,
Looks really good.
It's the open road speed limit has changed.
Transport for New South Wales, that was done completely without council consultation. I became aware of that after, is it you or Justin or Michael sent me a text message to say this was happening. And this is a really good thing to throw back to the community when we get requests about speed limit changes. A speed limit change happened, and as the road manager of that particular road, I found out third hand by one of our other directors.
What was the reason behind it?
There was a comprehensive speed review of the whole of Ingra was done, and my understanding is, I haven't seen the comprehensive review, my understanding is that the whole of Elcombe Road was identified as 8 kilometre an hour suitable speed limit, and that was then considered to be too far of a reach, so it's reined back into the adjustment that we have now.
Right.
It's ever been. I think it's not as rickety as it was a few years ago.
I'd say a lot of it had to do with that accident and people.
You just don't move that quickly usually.
Yeah.
No, this speed review has been, I think it started 5 or 6 years ago. Very, very slow progress.
I hate to see the whole thing that he goes now. Yeah, that's through Gravesend.
And that's the road that the highway patrols on all the time.
Yeah.
And he was in town very early this morning. So
Yeah, so I drive past too.
he was in town. I was in here before 8 o'clock and he was driving around.
What's the Kia Tasman like, mate? The first shy to get a Kia Tasman?
We might be. We were hoping to be early adopters and potentially where the benefits of being early adopters. There's been no negative feedback. Some of our faster driving employees have said that this thing's not as fast as my Hilux. That's probably a good thing. It performs very well off-road. The Ute's gone perhaps between 15 different people since it arrived because everybody's got a degree of curiosity, and there is talk that we will standardise the fleet potentially with the Tasman vehicles. So a lot of people have taken it out under very different driving conditions, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive.
I think it's got better clearance than the Toyota from what I was told.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They're a very well thought out vehicle, and Kia used to be a car brand that was on the nose or considered second rate, but they're class leading now. I don't think there's any reason that they shouldn't be able to develop a very good Hilux Ranger competitor.
This is not a paid promotion.
Toyota's now. A lot of Toyota dealers stock, or is that Hyundai?
I don't know the answer to that. It's Kensals in Tamworth that provided the best pricing to us. And I'm not sure if they're a Toyota Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi.
They have the fuel efficiency.
They are more fuel efficient.
Yeah.
Well, as an example, my Ranger averages about 10.5, and the Tasman that we've got is sitting low 9s, high 8s, depending on who's driving it.
It's not electric or hybrid.
I've got an uncle with one, he loves it.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's got one?
I've got an uncle with one, he loves it. Yeah.
I know the Kia Carnival that I drive, and even if it's a big vehicle, 7.2.
It's
runs that.
ridiculous. I love it.
It's like being in the lounge room.
Yeah,
If we put one of our overseas in the driver's seat, I'd imagine that would
quite possibly.
change quite a lot. But look, we have purchased one vehicle. This morning, the General Manager approved the purchase order for a further 5. We had intended to replace 23 vehicles with Tasmans, as is detailed in the report, but due to state and federal government bodies having serious issues paying us money that we deserve, which is being resolved slowly, we decided to shelve that idea, but we will have 6 in our fleet, and if between now and end of financial year we consider them to be appropriate vehicles and everything's looking like that's the case, then we will be picking those as our standardised outdoor staff vehicle. We've got Hiluxes, we've got Tritons, we've got D-Maxes, we've got Rangers, and some of the reason for that is personal preference of drivers, but in having 100 utes from 5 different manufacturers now, it makes it very difficult to stock standard oils, tyres, filters, all those things that as routine services our staff are able to do. Instead of ordering parts in, we could have a pretty healthy stock and we'll be able to do services almost on the spot with a very quick turnaround and probably get some buying power when we're buying the spare parts for servicing. That was the intention behind that. Exploration into Tasmans.
Put a bull bar on.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Alex?
Grader wheels.
They won't fit on the Kia Tasman.
You've got some to say?
Where's the investigation going with that?
Can I say frustratingly, I am not sure the investigation ever started.
Do you think we need to take that further?
I think that's probably a decision for the room and not for me.
I think.
I would say that I'm very frustrated that we lost more than $40,000 worth of equipment. For reference, a washer that goes underneath the nut on a Caterpillar grader wheel is worth $15. So things add up very quickly. I'm not sure if it was perceived as, well, it's just a couple of wheels and it's a council, they'll be right, we've got bigger things to investigate, it might be priorities in the police force or elsewhere, but it was not a small theft.
Yes.
And an unusual crime.
Grader tyres are very specific to graders. Caterpillar has one non-grader piece of plant in their entire lineup that takes the same wheels as our graders, the same tyres as our graders. So I think it would be a fair statement to make that those wheels were stolen with the intention of putting them on a grader somewhere. And that narrows down the pool of potential thieves to quite a small one. Graders are not common vehicles at all.
What about rural crime? Is that, sorry, I hate to tarnish that. Is it something they could look at?
I think I've spoken to this before, Alex. I had phone calls and emails from senior sergeant, I think he is, in Beryl Blake, and they were going to put more police as something that Brendan Moylan brought up with the whole of his electorate, that we need more police on the ground, for crime. We're very lucky in Gwydir. We don't have much crime. But my argument to Blake when talking to Blake, that it will soon be known that Gwydir doesn't have police on the ground, and because they're busy in Beryl or Moree. And this was one thing that we spoke about. So maybe we could bring it to his attention that this was never followed up. I mean, it's not good enough.
Maybe a suitable avenue to pursue would be to get a copy of what we've paid Caterpillar for the replacements, attach that to a letter, address it to the gentleman in question and say, this is the cost the council has incurred directly.
Yep.
It is our understanding that this has not been investigated. Are you able to provide an update?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, okay. So maybe if the councillors are happy, I'll follow up on that with Alex and get that email done. And I just don't think it's good enough. Like, we can't be brushed aside for something like that.
Do we need a motion or is it not a motion?
It'll be fine. We can just do it.
Hey, is there any more questions for Alex? 6.3. Okay. The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Wilmot, Councillor Cupp. Those in favour say aye. Okay, we move on to item 6.5, the business and strategy report, and the director of business and strategy, Justin, will take questions on it.
The main thing in the report, I guess, is the LEP changes that I brought up last month. The attachment is there if anyone feels like reading some legislation, free time. Another thing that will happen or has happened, the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act has had a planning system reform amendment go through last month, I think it was. So there's some, don't quiz me too much on it because I haven't fully read it yet, but there's changes there. I guess the most of it will affect the larger councils, but things like the community participation plan, which we rewrote recently so that exhibition timeframes would be reduced, is going to be rewritten at a statewide level. So no doubt we'll have to start exhibiting some of those DAs that no longer did. But one of the good changes is that it looks like they're going to try and make modifications a bit easier to DAs. Even if there's a typo in a document, you've got to go through a modification process, get it amended, and it looks like they're going to give us the power to just be able to change it and re-upload it. There's no way to actually do that at the moment. It can add a week for no reason to a DA. They're removing regional planning panels and they're changing them to local planning panels. But I think for regions like ours, they're then going to try and amalgamate some of those local planning panels, so then you're not going to have the regional planning. It's just not going to be as big. Apart from that, is there any in the reports? Anyone have any questions on?
I think thank you for getting a proper people dealt with and fixed up.
Yeah, they had I think a few times that had a few goes at that, and when they thought they had it sorted, there was some more dirt left.
The front of the house, great to see the roof completed.
And they got their little gazebo out the front too. It's good.
The subdivision at the end of Sale Yard seems wrong.
It has, because Crownland was flooded. One of the roads that we had proposed there go onto an adjoining lot, which is Crownland, and Crownland won't let us put the road on there. So we are waiting on, I don't remember what the surveyors are called, Sean Goodson called New England something or other. They're redoing it and it's going to be resubmitted.
Quarry, Justin, on Whitlow Road. What's
I have the final assessment report in my emails. I got it yesterday, but I haven't read through it yet.
Solar installation on its way. I refuse to call it a, what is it?
Solar.
I refuse to call it that. It's the solar installation on its way.
Yeah, it's also received that report yesterday from our planning guys. We were waiting on them actually to respond to the people who provided feedback for a long time there. Yeah, I've got the report there. Once again, I haven't read through that one yet.
More questions?
Oh, it's pretty quiet on the DA front at the moment. We don't have any submissions at the moment.
Everything's been done.
To sign that we've brought up.
Any more questions for Justin? The officer's recommendation is that the report be received. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Crispin and Councillor Bishton. Those in favour say aye. We move on to item 6.5 on page 95, which is Councillor's investment report. Any questions for our Chief of Financial Officer?
An observation rate to be at 4%.
We are working on getting, they are due to have new letters go out with our soft-sided recoup debt recovery people. There are letters going out because they're now overdue. It's a tough time of year though to be sending out reminder notices for those sorts of things at Christmas time. So We will get back into that in the new year and try and get that back up to where it has been previously sitting. There is no rhyme or reason though. There's every chance come January I'll be able to show you that they're back up where they were.
Yeah.
Just on that, Helen, in the community consultation, it came out that people are wanting an online vote period. Yeah, want to be able to see what they are or not. Is that something that can be implemented?
We are working on it. So we've just moved to a new printing company. Unfortunately, our previous printing company were just putting the prices up and up and up all the time. So we have just renegotiated to go to a new printing place. So hopefully that will give us the ability then to give people logins to be able to see their rates online.
Yeah.
It is on our radar to try and get that done.
Yeah.
And have rates being sent electronically and all that sort of stuff, yes.
Primary system authority, we've got to upgrade it, move to the cloud next year. There is the ability to have a portal on there as well, but it'll come down as it usually does with these guys. We're better off making that leap to cloud first and then looking at it.
Yes. Definitely on our radar though. And as Alex alluded to before, we are having terrible trouble getting money out of organisations that owe us from grant funded works. But we have had money come in this past week, so hopefully they're on a bit of a roll. And we've been advised more of Alex's money is being promised in January now, hasn't it, Alex?
Promise, yes. It's different from a guarantee, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Is that why the cash holdings are sort of down there?
absolutely.
It's a bit, well, it's a bit, I suppose the 24 was lots of grant money swirling around.
Yeah. It's just, well, once again, we've been owed big money for this month and it came in. So it has come in now, but on the 30th of November,
We're owed 11 million up.
I'm happy to make a statement on a recording that our flood damage reporting for the previous month should have resulted in about $12 million worth of claims, or $12 million worth of income, and it's resulted in 1.7 after a considerable amount of to and fro. And it may be that under-resourcing within the Reconstruction Authority is to blame for that. However, the whole push to the Reconstruction Authority was because Transport for New South Wales had expressed that they didn't have the resources to carry out disaster recovery funding arrangement works. So we've basically been bounced from one inefficient bureaucracy to another. And it has the potential to have very, very significant effects on our council.
So we're owed $11 million. Hopefully we'll come in very soon.
Why are they hanging on to it?
it's just a tricky juggle at the moment. And, you know, we've had the new building being built and the monies we borrowed for that we were able to kind of use to get us through other issues, that's nearly all been paid out now. So we'll just keep progressing. I mean, there is still money in the bank and we're fine. It's just being mindful that, you know, if money is promised and it doesn't come through in the month they say it's going to come through, it can make other months very tricky when you've got projects planned and, you know, we're having to pay contractors and stuff and the money we've been promised hasn't come in. So, and Scott, I just got an update from Carmen about the pontoon, and unfortunately it won't be finished by the end of this month because there's a backlog of concrete orders, but the rest of the area is being opened up to use the grass. It's just won't unfortunately be finished.
Got any more questions for Helen? Okay, the officer's recommendation is that the November 2025 monthly report and rates collection report be received and noted. I have a mover and a second. Councillor Crump and Councillor Wilmot. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we move on to item 6.6, which is the draft code of meeting practice. And this will be questions for Penny Goodwin, the Assets and Data Analyst Officer.
Those of you who don't know, Penny is moved to a governance role, working directly with me, and this was the first report of probably many to come in front of you. So we've invited her to come along to answer any questions that you have. This code of meeting practice has been debated widely across the local government industry, so it's got some quirky little things in it, but I'll throw to Penny.
So the report there summarises what there's a number of mandatory provisions that we just have to adopt. We don't have any say in those. The non-mandatory provisions are a section that council can have their own say on. So those are things like the time of meeting, dress, neutral, how councillors are supposed to dress, that sort of stuff. It's all summarised in the report. We can go through it if it's due.
Has everyone read that? We spoke about it briefly in the last council meeting. Is there any questions, or did you want Penny to go right through it, or people read it and
are any of those non-mandatory ones things that we need to vote on today, or
not today? For now, this draft code has to go on display for 28 days, and we have to allow the community 42 days to have any response to any of the non-mandatory provisions. So for now, this just has to go on display, and then in the new year, council can decide which provisions they want to adopt. You can produce another report if there's any response from the community.
any more questions on that? That will go on display. Okay. The officer's recommendation, the General Manager recommends that 1, Council endorses the draft Code of Meeting Practice to be placed on public exhibition for the mandatory 28 days and allows 42 days for the public to provide comments. 2, a report be presented to the February 2026 Ordinary Council meeting detailing the submissions that have been received from the public on draft code and to adopt the final version of the Code of Meeting Practice. Could I please have a member and a seconder for that? Councillor Collins and Councillor Crump. Those in favour say aye.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on to item 6.7 on page 213. It's the dissolution of Warialda Preschool as section 355 committee. The Director of Business and Strategy, Justin Helmer, will take questions on this.
This is once again another section 355. It's an outcome from the search review that we did. The preschools and the incorporating association, so they technically shouldn't be section 355 in the first place. But Leah and I met with them not that last month, I think it was. It's quite they're happy for it to no longer be a section 355. There's obligations they won't have to meet. We're essentially just a landlord for them at the moment, but we provide them the building. There's no need for us to carry any liability for the preschool. If anything happened there, we'd just be another target. So this is just clearing house. They actually weren't even aware that they were in section 355. So, yeah.
Any questions? The officer's recommendation that Council dissolves Warialda Preschool as a section 355 committee of Council. Further, Council authorises the General Manager to negotiate and execute a renewed commercial lease or licence agreement between Council and Warialda Preschool Incorporated for the use of the premises at 39 Queen Street, Warialda on substantially the same practical terms as the existing deed of agreement. Further, Council terminates the existing deed of agreement dated the 12th of December 2016 upon execution of the new commercial agreement. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Wilmot and Councillor Crispin, and those in favour say aye. Good. Okay, we move on to item 6.8 on page 217, results of the community consultation. Any questions to our General Manager, Leah David?
Very interesting read. The average age surprised me.
Yeah. 71% of the people voted it for FEMA. Is there any questions on this? I mean, I saw in it reading, regular GPs and more doctors, and we'd all love that in the perfect world. But as I said to the people when I was down in Mudgee, they've got an ad in every shop window asking for permanent GPs. And if Mudgee can't get them, then it's sort of close to Sydney and the wine capital, I think everyone else is going to really struggle.
Sorry. What do we do with this information other than noting it? I mean,
it's CB for our community strategic plan, so our 10-year plan, and it goes in addition to when we went out to the public meetings, we're really gathering the thoughts on what our community wants to see, and it's to build the 10-year plan.
Some of the wants and needs are a bit of a chicken flick and possibly not a big investment. Are they things that do get looked at now? Or
some of them will definitely. So what happens, we've got the 10-year plan, and then this council decides in their 4 years or your 3 years and the next council 1 year what you want to achieve out of what's in the community strategic plan, and then you pick what you want to budget for and achieve every year. So the simple things in there are things we could do tomorrow.
Yeah,
be done. Other things, it's the council's role to look at what's in the community strategic plan and pluck out what you want to see in your term, and then annually budget for and achieve those things. So the simple chicken flick, the low-hanging fruit we'll work on now.
Yeah.
Always interesting process.
Yeah.
Fittingly, there was only 180 responses, but 31% of them were dissatisfied with the result, with the replies of council to problems that they had. It's probably pretty high, but we probably just need to look at that again.
You never hear from the happy people is the problem.
It can't be everything to everyone, but
I think it's a reflection of people having complaints that they may consider legitimate, that we may consider outside our remit or inequitable to address.
yeah, I'd say a lot weren't even local government.
And then you've always also got people in the community that don't like to adhere to legislation around dogs and buildings and things like that.
Any more questions?
Those little boxes we left at the council meetings in the shire,
That's what this was, yeah.
As well as
And
the
the
online
QR
survey.
code. Remember, there was the QR code we told everyone as well. So the boxes plus QR code was the same thing, people.
Let's find out that the box at RJ was never collected.
Right. I did ask if they were collected.
There's only one suggestion in there.
There was only one suggestion.
you bring your suggestion to the meeting.
That we build a Honda Jacks next to the truck wash.
True.
So that's
Oh,
my
no.
collection of box.
We will make sure we note that we get around to collecting them all next time. Okay, no more questions?
Tourism was brought up, and I think we were talking the other night at our councillor
Yeah.
party thing. I think tourism is something we really need to work on. as a Shire, we've got so many resources here now and assets that people don't know about.
I think we really need to work on that in the new year, as we discussed the other night. We've got so, as Nick said, so much to offer, and really need to get into that. We spoke about that executives the other day. This is a prime example. This facility up here, we really need to get it out there.
Maybe not a skywalk at the Bingara Lookout, but there's a lot of other things that we can show off.
Any billboards or anything around? No other shires have. They've got billboards this way for Bingara. This is what we can offer.
No, we haven't, but there's always been talk of one on the Narrabri.
That's actually the one I was thinking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It came with I think they wanted $100,000 for a billboard just to pop up there. So it's died a natural death, but it's certainly, maybe there's better ways to do things now in this world. Technology. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Definitely on the radar.
We've just got our big new drone, and the boys have been and done their course. They went this week today.
Yeah, yeah.
Today, so we will be able to utilise that and do footage for tourism right across the whole Shire, going from, North Star, Poplar Creek, all the way down with the things that we've got to offer in between, right out to Portland. So that's a bit exciting. Are there any more questions? Okay, the officer's recommendation is that the information be noted. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Wilmot and Councillor Crispin, and those in favour say aye. We'll move on to councillors' reports. Anyone that wants to do something confidential with Sam will bring it up there. But move on. Councillor Bishop, have you got anything?
Yeah, I had a farmer talk to me about ramps. He's out on the Whitlow Road, and some of these ramps are a bit hazardous. Have I talked about this before?
Perhaps not.
And he just wanted to know what, is it the farmer who's got the ramp going in his place who doesn't have to worry about fences? Should he be?
It absolutely is the responsibility of the landholder who benefits from the ramp to maintain it, and the approach is 20 metres either side of it. Martin Ladmore, who's one of our technical officers, does regularly do ramp inspections, and I think he's been around nearly the whole Shire, and where there's been something identified as unsafe or dangerous, his contact landholder sent a copy of our policy.
Yeah.
If there's a particular ramp that we need to act on, I'm happy to talk with you afterwards, and I'll get Martin to be in touch.
Yeah, right. Just out the way.
Understand that ramps are part of being a rural Shire. They are a liability for council, though.
Absolutely.
And I think that's come up in each year for
Each term of council.
Yeah. Anything else?
That was the only one. I thought I had something else. Might come back to you.
Councillor Crispin.
Congratulations to all the HSC students in the Guaya Shire. They would have received their HSC results and ATARs today. So hopefully they got what they were hoping for. Yeah, we got some positive results here too. Hopefully they get what they needed to get them to what they want to do in the future. If me.
Councillor Wilmot.
I have one from resident whose property joins Val's Lane in Marietta.
Sorry.
Val's Lane, which is the lane between Long Street and High Street.
Yep.
And it possibly has been identified by our garbage contractor that there's a large tree overgrowing that laneway that impacts the collection of garbage because those properties are below the High Street, so their garbage is a rear lane collection.
Cool. It's the tree grown from a property that has quite a large block brick house on top.
The person who's bought it from me is on High Street with the brick house, yes.
Right.
And the trees in the yard at their rear in Long Street.
You can inspect.
Anything else?
And it was just, I popped into the office the other day because I had a couple of people ask me about flags and why we didn't have a flag flying at half mast, which then prompted me to ask us why we don't fly a flag in Warrior at our chamber building.
They have one that's going up today.
Our flag was stolen.
Yes,
We had to purchase another one.
and they've got it today, so it'll go up today. Yes, so isn't it?
Mm.
And we'll have a flagpole at the new building.
Need to look for a radar heading west with a flag on it.
Yeah. Anything else? Councillor Collins.
Second meeting next month. I thought I'd bring twice as much this month. The first one's a request on behalf of the mayor, actually. She's probably too modest or too humble to ask, but I think you deserve a sat phone or some sort of security for driving around the countryside when you're on your own. Actually, Catherine was telling me I should ask this.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I didn't ask for that.
No, but, I mean, do you ever feel like you're out of range when you drive to Cropper Creek or North Star? Or,
Yeah, I didn't try to worry. I've got no service, but I sort of, I've never really taken any notice.
well, you might want one, but I think for your safety, you're entitled to something as a backup, especially at night time when you're on your own. And
We could fit the vehicle with a Starlink.
So,
If I'm going somewhere, I could just borrow someone's Starlink. Yeah.
Oh, we can get one that's in the vehicle.
Instead of Starlink Mini.
Oh.
Okay.
But is that an expense to have that all the time, or?
It'll pay for it the time that you need it.
Oh, okay.
you only need to use it once. Hit a roo or a pig or a...
Yeah. I came home from Gravesend on whatever day that was, because we had a big day. A big pig ran out in front of me and I only just missed it. I thought, oh no, I don't want to have to tell anyone I hit a pig, but it was that was dangerous, yeah. Thanks.
All right, pleasure. North Star report, the tip, got some information about the tip. Apparently it's inaccessible despite several requests to clean it up. A transfer station clean up. The exterior area is rubbish filled and disgusting. That's about the tip, North Star.
So, sorry, it only hits a transfer station. Are they saying that the bins are inaccessible?
The creek boundaries, does that make sense to you?
Be the eastern boundary, I assume.
I haven't been up there personally, but
It's okay. I'll have it inspected, and if it requires attention, it will get it.
they think they would benefit from some overhead lights if possible in the parking area for trucks at night time. Apparently trucks are still going there at night time. Overhead lighting would help in the park area.
At the tip.
Oh, at the park area.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But that would
If you're on Edward Street or down the Bobbin Road,
North Star Park, which is on the main street.
just opposite Vicarage.
But on a positive, the centre lights in the toilets are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for that. And they're still quite concerned about speeding down the main street, which how much more we can do in regards to that.
It's a difficult one, and especially when we put our speed trailer and we had traffic counters there as well, neither showed there was a significant speeding problem. It was something as small as, I'm happy to get the exact figures back to you if you'd like to take them back to people in North Star, but it was as few as 4 or 5% of trucks were breaking the speed limit, and most cars were 80th percentile, well below the speed limit.
And I'll take that back. I haven't been up there to watch, but The next one, I did drive out to have a look, but Gravesend, it's been fixed within the last 24 hours, but the appearance of the main street was disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. And I can see why they're upset. I've got pictures here of what they've left around public bins and out the front of shops. And it has been fixed to my knowledge, but I think someone needs to be spoken to in regards to it.
There's a staff matter tied up with that I'm happy to talk about in confidential.
The signs leading into the Shire, I brought that up a few months ago, but I came back in via Tamworth the other day, and it's quite ordinary, our little glider, Welcome to Glider Shire sign. It's got mould on it, and it looks like it needs a bit of love, just to show that we take pride in the entrance to our Shire, I suppose. We don't need a massive sign, but it could do with a clean, I suppose, at the very least.
We're developing decent, not massive, but decent sized signs for the entry into our council area. And they'll have a similar look to our town signs. But we're just trying to agree on what we want. Pretty much, Alex, isn't it?
Yeah. And also something that's going to be affordable and something the Transport for New South Wales, who owns all the roads that you enter the Shire and are going to agree to. But it's been, we've discussed for a long time that they're not, they don't reflect the quality of the Shire, those signs. I'll save my words that I was going to say. They're not good signs, and we agree they need replacing. We just need to make sure that we get it right, so we've got something that can sit there for 25 years and reflect the quality of the Shire adequately over that period.
Yeah. The gutters in the main street of L'Oreal, they brought that up a fair while ago, and we had people down there putting yellow marks, etc., for the trip marks, but the yellow marks are still there. I'm just wondering when in the scope of works,
there's a piece of concrete about this big that's come out of the gutter. It's in front of RGA that's sitting on the footpath.
Have an answer before the end of the meeting.
We're talking about the entrance to the tourist centre at L'Oreal, which looks great, and I think it looks amazing. But the entrance to our other building is quite. I went in there to pay a bill, not to pay a bill, to pick up 5 minutes the other day, and it's not very welcoming in terms of how it looks. A few pot plants. I'm happy to get a few pot plants and do it up myself, but it's not up. Do any of you agree? Have any of you been into the?
I noticed it this week too, and I've taken action.
It just looks very run down and messy and untidy. And
some nice
water bottles have become stored there. And there's the dumping area.
Old things on the notice board that finished years ago.
Nice big pots. I thought the other day would be nice there too.
Getting close. Did you get a phone call, Leah, from Preventative Health at all, or an email from Preventative Health? An exciting project. Our Shire has been identified as one of about 15 across the state to have one of these preventative health stations based at it. It doesn't cost us anything. The only thing is the connectivity. So what it does, you can go in there and say we have it at the tourist centre. You can go in there and get your blood pressure taken, your sugar levels, your weight. And it's just a way of trying to give people a way. You know, if you're waiting to go to the doctor or you can't get access to the doctor, it's free. They've rolled a lot out. They've done thousands and thousands of tests across the state, but our Shire's been identified as one potentially to get for free. So I told her to give you a call.
They sent me an email and I responded to say we love more information. It was just an introductory email. So that's a work in progress. We'll let you know how that goes.
Excellent. A big thank you to Sarah and anyone else responsible for the staff Christmas party the other night. It was a great night and very relaxed and
lovely that we could just sit around and relax and chat.
Lucky we have staff that go above and beyond in so many ways to do things like that. The last thing is Taronga Zoo. It's getting a lot of advertising and putting our little Shire on the map at the moment in regards to the properties that have been purchased.
Very exciting.
There's already been discussions on how we can partner in certain things going forward, right down to our Willoughby exchange program with when the students go down there. So lots of possibilities on that front as well.
Lots of quality. The only negative I've heard is surrounding people hope it doesn't turn into sanctuary for pigs and weeds and whatever else. So I hope someone actually lives there and keeps it maintained that way.
I think it's in their best interest that they want it well maintained, and from my understanding, yeah.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Collins. Councillor Craft?
Not too much from me other than just a bit of a thank you to everyone for a great year. I think we're all still learning really, and I think this year's been really good. It has been great to see what sort of things come out of council and what you can offer, and I'm proud to be part of this process. So yeah, well done to everyone, and Merry Christmas. Have a good break. Hold your loved ones dear and be safe. Yeah.
So I was going to keep going. Okay. Thank you. Now, Committee of the Whole, confidential items. It is recommended that Council resolve into Committee of the Whole.
I have a recommendation from the Committee of the Whole. Item 1.1, confidential organisation and community services report. Recommendation is that the report be received. Item 1.2, proposed sale of lot 7 DP 13109993 in Warringah. Committee of the Whole recommendation is that Council obtain a valuation for the land as a whole under the RU1 zoning as well as RU5 zoning, and an additional valuation be undertaken on an approximate 2.5 hectare block facing the Glider Highway. Further, that the offer from Roger Moore be declined. That's it from the confidential meeting.
Thank you. Being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at.
We just need someone to.
Oh, could I have a mover and a second
for those recommendations?
Of the recommendations, Councillor Sherman and Councillor Crispin, those in favour say aye. And being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 12:17.